You share a thought, a feeling, an observation that feels deep and important to you. It rises from the quiet, intricate landscape of your inner world, a small offering of your true self. And the response you receive is a blank stare, a polite nod, a quick and uncomfortable change of subject. In that moment, you feel a familiar, quiet sting. It is the sting of being perceived as too much, too intense, too serious. And so, you retreat. You file that piece of yourself away, back into the quiet archives of your mind, and you return to the safety of simpler, more acceptable conversation. If this experience is a recurring theme in your life, you have likely wrestled with a lonely question. Why do I feel like I have to constantly simplify myself to be understood, and that no one can truly handle my depth? This feeling can lead to a profound sense of isolation, a feeling that you are navigating the world behind a pane of glass, able to see others clearly, but never feeling truly seen yourself. This is not a sign that you are flawed, pretentious, or broken. It is the quiet burden of a sensitive and introspective soul living in a world that often prefers the surface. It is the loneliness of being too complex. And this is a gentle invitation to see that complexity not as a problem to be solved, but as a gift to be honored. Let's name this pattern. It is a form of intellectual and emotional loneliness, born from the habit of self-simplifying. This is a defense mechanism, a social strategy you likely learned without even realizing it. To maintain connection, to avoid the discomfort of that blank stare, you learn to edit yourself. You translate the rich, nuanced poetry of your inner world into simple, digestible prose. You learn to skim the surface in conversations, even when you long to dive deep. You become an expert at small talk, even though it feels like a language you are not fluent in, a performance that leaves you feeling hollow and unseen. You do this to maintain social harmony, but the cost is your own authentic connection. This pattern is often intertwined with the temperament of introversion or high sensitivity. If you are a person who processes the world deeply, who lives with a rich inner monologue, and who finds meaning in nuance, the fast-paced, surface-level nature of much of social interaction can feel draining. Small talk for many is not just boring, it is exhausting. It requires you to operate in a low-resolution version of yourself, to ignore the thousands of intricate thoughts and feelings that are constantly flowing through you. The fear is often that if you were to express what is truly on your mind, you would be seen as strange, pretentious, or intense. You fear that your depth will overwhelm others, that it will be a burden on the light, easy flow of conversation. So you stay quiet and you feel alone. But we must gently challenge the story that your depth is a social liability. It is a pervasive myth that to be liked, one must be simple and easy to understand. This belief forces us to choose between being authentic and being connected, but this is a false choice. Your depth, your complexity, your unique way of seeing the world is not a flaw, it is a gift. It is the very source of your capacity for empathy, for creativity, for insight. It is the very thing that allows you to form the richest, most meaningful connections imaginable, with the right people, in the right spaces. The problem is not your depth. The problem is the belief that you must hide it to be worthy of connection. Consider the experience of reading a profound and complex book. Not everyone will have the patience or the interest to engage with it. Some will find it too dense, too slow, too demanding. But for the few who do, the experience is transformative. The book meets them at their own depth and creates a powerful, lasting connection. Your inner world is like that book. It is not for everyone, and that is okay. The goal is not to rewrite yourself into a simple pamphlet that is palatable to all. It is to have the courage to remain a rich and complex novel, and to trust that the readers who are meant to find you will. So how do we begin to honor our own complexity, to gently push back against the habit of self-simplification? It does not start with a sudden vow to only speak in philosophical monologues. It starts with a small, quiet experiment in authenticity. We can call this the practice of 1% conversations. The idea is to find small moments with one trusted person, a friend, a partner, a family member who has shown a capacity for deeper listening, and to allow yourself to be just 1% more authentic. It is not about overwhelming them with your deepest thoughts. It is about sharing one small, genuine observation. If you are watching a movie together, instead of just saying, "I liked it," you might share one specific detail that moved you. If you are talking about your day, instead of the usual, "It was fine," you might share one small, real feeling. "I felt a moment of real peace on my walk home today." Or, "I'm feeling a little anxious about that meeting tomorrow." These are not grand confessions. They are small acts of revealing your inner world. Each time you share a slightly deeper, more authentic thought, and it is met with curiosity or understanding, you are teaching your nervous system that it is safe to be seen. You are slowly building a bridge between your inner world and the outer one. Another gentle practice is to create a space for your complexity in private through journaling. When you feel that familiar ache of being misunderstood, or the exhaustion of performing simplicity, turn to a notebook. You might explore a question like this: what is a thought I had today that I did not share, and why? Give yourself the space to articulate your own experiences, your own worries, your own small joys. The purpose is not to build a case against your friends. It is to give a voice to the parts of you that have been silenced. By simply acknowledging your own need to be seen, even just to yourself, you begin to honor your own experience as valid. You are practicing the art of listening to yourself with the same compassion you so freely give to others. The journey away from the loneliness of being too complex is a quiet return to yourself. It is the gradual, courageous process of unlearning the belief that you must shrink to be loved. It is about trusting that your depth is not a burden, but a gift. You do not need to be simple to be connected. You just need to find the people who are willing to read your novel, not just the summary on the back cover. Your complexity is not a problem to be solved. It is a landscape to be explored. It is what makes your perspective unique, your empathy deep, and your capacity for connections so profound. The world may often ask for simplicity, but true intimacy is found in the shared courage to embrace our beautiful, intricate, and sometimes messy human depths. What if your true self is not too much? What if, for the right person, it is finally just enough?